From a dumpy little office in West Covina, California, it's The Foo Bar Show with Josie and The Foo. Hey, what is up, everybody? I am Josie.
I am The Foo.
And we got Dayvid on the mix. Say hello, Dayvid.
Hello, Dayvid.
And thank you very much for listening to The Foo Bar Show. Thank you for subscribing and telling a friend like a champ.
Welcome back.
You can always catch us at The Foo Bar. That's without the. That's FOO Bar Show at gmail.com. And FOO Bar Show is our handle on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check us out. Drop us a line, and we'll foo it up like a couple of foos. Foo. I got some good news.
You know what jelking is. That's the good news.
We'll talk about that later, sir.
Okay.
But anyway, on tap today, we were supposed to have John Safari on. Unfortunately, if you guys remember from a couple of weeks ago, he was taking a trip over to Hawaii. Apparently, he's up in the air.
Well, I think when we had him last time, he had to work a split shift or something along those lines.
You said it was a flat tire.
Yeah. Well, split shift means I got a flat.
Okay.
But I don't want to tell you I got a flat.
But he's literally up in the air about being on the show.
So his plane,
love the guy.
His plane got a flat
stuff to talk
this time.
about, but unfortunately, he couldn't make it in.
So his plane got a flat tire.
First time he has a flat, and the second time he's up in the air. He's like,
did the
one
engine go
extreme
out?
Or the other.
Right? Did the engine go out?
I sure hope
on?
not.
No, he'll be fine. He's gonna make it to listen to this podcast and just hear us talk about how he was not here right now.
Yeah. Got a little showbiz update, some sports, some news, and the Foo wants to talk about jelking at some point. But I have some really good news right now, and let me just put this one on here. Foo, the House of 100 Harmonies is back.
Or did they go anywhere?
They didn't go anywhere.
We just have to find better sourcing.
Yeah. So why did we think last week that that they went out of business or they got shut down?
Well, I believe a close associate of ours,
Josh.
Yeah. Well, this unnamed associate,
Josh.
Yes, unnamed.
Right.
He passed by, and I guess he went.
He panicked.
I guess.
So you didn't see anybody in the parking lot.
Well, this is
what?
the thing. Now that I'm thinking back on it. If it's no one in the parking lot, I'd be like, I can park anywhere. But that's just me. Anyways, yeah, I think the gate was closed, which is why he assumed it was closed.
Uh-huh.
And I think he passed by again, but I don't think they're open 5 in the morning.
Dick, really? Like he was passing by at 5 a.m. and then he's just like,
kidding.
Oh no, they're closed. That's it.
No,
we're done for.
It was after work, I believe. So it was prime business hours.
Uh-huh.
But oddly enough, I took a trip down over there, and what do you know? They were happy to take my money.
Well, good, man. I'm glad to hear that. I don't have to drive to L.A. to get my hands on some greens. But now you were telling me that they're now required to say something when they sell you something. Right?
Yes. Something I noticed when I was there is that they were saying, like, I could tell them they were saying. I thought they were just talking apparently.
Okay. But
they were not, because I went in, I made my selection. I'm very quick with my stuff. I was in and out like in 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But when they were bringing my total up, gave me my change. Of course, I tip your bud tenders, everyone. Not your bartenders though.
Not your bar. You gotta.
I'm just kidding. Tip everyone that
get a shitty fucking.
Tip everyone
Manhattan.
that has a shitty job. By the way, help them out. Anyways, the girl signed off after I said thank you, saying, "May the sacred cannabis guide and protect you."
Because it's a church.
Yes, because somehow this House of Harmonies has. Well, you've been in there. There's scriptures all over, and I guess they're trying to write it out that they're a church, but
yeah, using like passages and verses from the Bible to justify the use of cannabis.
They must have a hell of a lawyer. Hell of a lawyer.
You know what justifies me smoking weed? I need to get high. Or I would just like to smoke some fucking weed. I don't need some. Anyway, regardless, they're a good establishment. They're very clean, very professional.
They just have a shitty parking lot. That's the only downfall. And that's not really a big problem.
And I can deal with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's not like it's full all the time. We always, at least every time I've gone, which is once.
Good pricing, good stuff. Good overall. I had a disposable pen I bought from them, and it leaked everywhere.
Right, you were talking about that.
So that was the only downfall I've had with them. Other than that,
but that was the product. It was just
exactly. It had nothing to do with them. It was that shitty pen.
Right.
But yeah. So if you need to go, they're open.
Sweet. Cool, man. Well, despite John Safari not being here, I wanted to get your guys' opinion because I somehow was going to try to tie in the fact that the not the end for, but the pay for play model or the pay to play model that we had discussed a couple of weeks ago, that he was going to expand on today, that kind of gave rise to more electronic or DJ kind of music. I want to get Foo your take on it, and then Dayvid, since you're in the industry along with me, what your take is on that. Would you say that my take on it is accurate, or somehow helped influence that decision for clubs to hire DJs in electronic music over bands?
Foo?
Well, what do you think, Foo?
No, I thought you were asking Dayvid.
I was asking you first.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I really didn't know this was a thing to start off.
Right.
But you guys brought up some interesting points of where I think you've gave me some extreme examples. But basically, from what I understand, the band has to pay in order to play.
In one way or another, whether it be literally paying the venue to have some stage time and use their services like a sound guy or a PA or whatever a sound is being provided at the time, or in a different way where they're telling you to sell these unrealistic amount of tickets, in which case you got to pay them whatever 30 times $10 a ticket is, which is about it's $300. And if they're not selling all 30 tickets, then it's got to come out of
right?
Yeah, they got to eat the cost. So that's definitely a pay to play model when you're taking advantage of these high school kids who are trying to get in front of some people at a stage where it's not exposure, dude. Last time I was playing Oregon Trail, you died of exposure.
I died of a rattlesnake bite, but that's.
Or what was the other one?
I think you could die of famine.
Dysentery.
That's a
big one.
And then
you could get mauled
no
by a
water. Oh, a mountain lion or something like that.
Yeah.
The river. You can drown.
I don't understand. The path is through the river and you can drown.
You can have accidentally shot someone. That's a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
So, like, what happens there? I mean, didn't guns take forever to load? How do you accidentally shoot someone?
Apparently it happens, but it happens in the game. Like, you accidentally shot someone, and then they're, like, injured, and then they probably die because their
of course,
got infected.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, back to the pay to play thing. I personally, I think that the rise of the DJ was inevitable with the rise of technology. I think making everything so portable, and I think having stuff like pay to play around didn't help. Obviously, it's not going to help, encourage musicians. I think the main victim of pay to play is the good musician who was working really hard to try to get their music out there, where the really shitty musician who's just really good at marketing gets to play these really awesome shows because they're just basically paying to get out there. They're not really getting the numbers out there. They're just paying the money, getting on these stages and playing these shows. Some of them obviously did talk to their friends and sell tickets, and good for them on doing that, and especially if their friends want to support them.
Yeah,
I don't think the pay to play model sucks. I think it sucks for a certain demographic. It sucks for the high school kids. It sucks for the bands who are just starting out. If you're confident that you can make money off of pay to play, then do it. But as far as the rise in DJs, I think they definitely were going to come about regardless because of how simple it is to take a ton of songs and just dump them onto your computer and buy a DJ controller, just go out there and start doing that and start entertaining people, get a couple lights, turn them on, and you got an environment and a vibe, and that's very easy to sell with one person.
What was the inadvertent cause of this, Lil Jon?
Really?
Yeah, because he's one of those DJs that really didn't have to do shit except hype a party up.
DJ Khaled is a motherfucker. I don't know. I still don't know what that guy does. He just points at the ceiling and yells his name.
He's a positive motivational speaker all the time, it seems.
I guess.
Apparently, he's the best.
Also, I heard he doesn't go down on his wife.
He
yes.
is a piece of shit.
That's how you keep a woman, sir.
By not going down?
No.
Oh.
By going down on her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Well, he does not do that.
He does not.
He does not believe in it, he says.
He's a terrible person.
Wow,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, The Rock shamed him for it.
Oh.
The Rock shamed him?
Good
for
for
him.
The Rock,
Dwayne
man.
The Rock
Good for The Rock.
Fucking Rock's
Yeah.
a hero.
He's a good guy.
Anyways, getting back to it, I think, and getting back to this pay-for-play issue, I think it's a good model if you're trying to share the wealth, but it sounds like they're not really sharing the wealth.
They just do a bit.
It sounds like it'd be a good, like, for example, I was thinking on the drive over, that would kind of spark only the best of the best to really make it, but I'm kind of, I'm on that fence, man. It's a wavy roller coaster.
That's why I like your opinion, because you really don't have a stake in any of this. So that's why I like to ask you, a person who doesn't know shit about anything, and just get a fresh take on something that a lot of kids are really experiencing these days.
Well, what do I know?
I don't know. Well, I don't know that we're providing extreme examples, though, because this is just shit that we've observed that's common, at least in our area, the Los Angeles, Orange County area.
I think the issue is that you're getting these bands to pre-sell these tickets.
Right.
And not all the bands are doing the legwork to sell the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if the problem is that the tickets are unsellable. It's a problem on the band side. It's a problem on the venue side. What I've seen is that they just try to make, whatever bands they can play and sell the tickets. And, if you're kind of an up-and-coming band, is it worth it to, like, spend 25, 30, 40 of your own bucks to get your name out there? Yeah. But how many times you got to do that? That's what I'm kind of wondering.
Many, many times.
Yeah.
And I think to David's credit, a couple of weeks ago he mentioned that it would be nice if these clubs and venues would do a little bit more quality control on the type of music that's going to be played live that day, or at least just give at least the audience a heads up, or at least build that camaraderie amongst the bands that are playing that day, so that it encourages everybody to be on the same flyer. I've seen so many of these events where, like, a band will say, I'm playing the Chain Reaction this weekend, but only their band name is on the flyer that they created, as opposed to getting with the other bands that are on that bill. And what sucks too is that these promoters don't let the bands know what other bands are going to be there that day unless you ask, and it's a bitch to try to get an answer from them to see who else is playing that day, because they probably still don't know. A lot of these decisions get made maybe days before or hours before anybody's supposed to take the stage. So a little bit more coordination, a little bit more communication, I think would go a long way to at least try to make sure that the last band playing is there to see the first band playing, and vice versa, along with their own crowd. So I mean that's where I'm coming at it from, and because it sucked wherever I would play a show and my crowd would end up leaving, and I'd get upset at them. I was like, "Thanks guys for coming, but where the fuck are you going? There's like 4 hours of music left. I thought we were all gonna hang." And it sucks.
So those shows can go a little long too, especially you're saying like there's 4 hours of music left, and they've probably seen already.
It sounds like there needs,
and it's harder when no alcohol is being sold too.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
That. I remember the first one I went to when you remember the hotline. Me and my ex at the time were like, "What the fuck, dude? What are we doing?"
Yeah, you want some airheads?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We were kind of like, "This is weird," but playing.
It was a little sad. Yeah.
Yeah, playing at a bar or something's a different story.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like you said. What motivation do they have to stay?
Mm-hmm.
I think it has to be better coordination on the venue's part. At least what I would do if I owned a bar and I did that, I would be like, dude, get as many people as you can. We're gonna have some type of special, like $5 wells or fucking $3 wells. I mean, dude, you're gonna get people in there.
Problem is, as well, is it is the bands themselves. Like, if you're not a good band, it doesn't matter how much you're going out there and trying to make your thing happen.
That's true.
People will not come. You have to improve yourself as a musician. There's so many elements all over the place that is kind of like lending themselves to this model that it doesn't work in that way. I think it just needs its proper application. And at this point, it just feels like we're beating a dead horse. Pay to play sucks.
Word.
For the wrong people.
Agreed. Well, let's move on to a little showbiz update. I got something to talk about. I think we could all kind of have an opinion about it.
What you got, Georgia?